Hey folks, I have a fun one today. We're talking about copyright law. No? Okay. Well, I had somebody reach out, Nathaniel on Patreon. Thank you again for writing in. They asked about how I am able to do this without basically getting sued, right? I'm posting covers of other people's music on YouTube, and a lot of people have asked over the years how I navigate the law, and the answer has changed over the years. Basically, if we're just talking about YouTube in 2024, they are covering the sync license. A sync license is putting somebody else's composition to video. And there's a distinction here between composition and song, or recording, we'll call it for purposes of this video. So if Ariana Grande comes out with a song, I'm not using the recording of that song, I'm using the composition, right? Because I'm doing my own arrangement of it. I don't need to get the rights for the recording. I just need to get the rights from the composer. And YouTube covers it. What they do is they have a program called Content ID, which means I will upload a video and their algorithm has basically everything in the system, and even my own arrangement that has never existed before, their algorithm will know what song it is, and not only that, their database will know who owns the rights to that composition. So they know who needs to get paid, but how do they actually get paid? I'm not the one that's paying them. I mean, I kind of am, but what happens is they run ads, right? Ford will come to them and say, I want my truck ads played before a trombone video. They pay YouTube a bunch of money to have their ads played before my videos. That money then gets split into three piles, one for YouTube, one for the composition rights holders, and one for me. So when you're watching one of my videos and you see an ad, just know that I'm getting paid. The person who owns the rights to that song is also getting paid. And of course, YouTube's taking a cut because that's how you're seeing it in the first place. There is a little wrinkle in this, which is I have not asked permission to perform this song. If somebody performed one of my songs, shouldn't I have the right to tell them they're not allowed to do that? And the answer is yes. And this is why I understand people are nervous to put stuff on the internet. They're nervous to be sued by some big corporation who owns the rights to these songs or something. But this is why that's not really a problem on YouTube. Whoever owns the rights to the music being performed can dictate what happens to it. So I have a great example. The Eagles are so litigious. I had an arrangement of Hotel California and they took it down. And they're allowed to do that because they own the rights to the music. I never asked permission to arrange it or perform it. They would have gotten money had they left it up, but they don't want to do that. They don't want the song out there. That's their right. And so they can click a button and the song gets taken down. That's their right. That's what happens. So if you're nervous about posting a cover on YouTube that you haven't asked for permission to post the cover or anything like that, you don't have to worry, because if they don't like it being up, they can just take it down. There's no, their lawyer's gonna contact you, and if you don't take it down, it's not scary at all. They click a button and you get an email that says, you're fine, but like people can't watch the video because the person who owns the rights didn't want it up. That's it. So that's the answer to the question. On YouTube, it's not a problem at all. Again, I know schools specifically are very nervous to post stuff. If somebody has a problem with it and they own the rights to the song, they'll just take it down. It basically rarely happens because if it stays up, everybody makes money and everybody's happy. Let's talk about some of the other licenses that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I do my YouTube video. The sync license is provided through this YouTube revenue sharing program. From there, maybe I want to put it on Spotify, right? Or put it on a CD or something. For that, I need a mechanical license. There are a bunch of places where you can get these. The Harry Fox Agency to prepay them, or DistroKid, where you pay like $1 a year per cover song and they will take care of it. I just buy it myself so I can put it on every platform and I'm covered and I know the composers are getting paid. So I have my YouTube video and the sync license there. I have my Spotify recording and the mechanical license there. Everybody's getting paid. For the sheet music, however, you need a print license. And so this is the last license that I deal with on a day-to-day. You typically get that from one of the major sheet music publishers because they have basically obtained the print license for most popular songs. I use 2 different publishers. I use Art of Sound Music, which is a great small publisher that really values their composers and arrangers and pays them fairly. Most publishers do not. For my pop songs, I use Noteflight, which is partnered with Hal Leonard, and they have all of the print licenses for basically every song I've ever done. Typically, the going rate is about 90% to the publisher, 10% to the composer. It sucks. There's no way around it. If you bought sheet music from one of my covers from me on a Noteflight or a website like that, most of that money is going to the publisher, a small percentage is going to the composer, and a very, very, very tiny percentage is going to me. I've sold about $60,000 of sheet music, and I've personally gotten about $6,000. It stinks, but it's the only easy way to make sure my sheet music is out there legally and people can access it. Since I'm not really making money on this stuff, I've set the price to the minimum that they allow me to sell it for. So I think it's based on how many parts there are. For a quartet, maybe it's 10 or 15, and for a larger ensemble, I think it's $20. Whatever the lowest they allow me to set the price is what all of my sheet music is priced at, because I'm not making 90% of that money, so I don't really care. I set it all the way low, and hopefully that makes my sheet music accessible, because that's really all I care about for that stuff, is just having it out there so people can play it and access it, and that it's legally out there. So that's the print license. If you're worried about getting sued, putting your covers on the internet, whether it's on Spotify or selling sheet music or putting it on YouTube, this is how to do it. There are other platforms, right? Like an Instagram or a Facebook or a TikTok that are having much bigger issues with this stuff. I mean, UMG just pulled all of their music off of TikTok because of these negotiation issues and getting paid fairly for the use of their music. So clearly, that's still a developing story on other platforms, but on YouTube, it's a pretty sweet deal. This isn't legal advice, but I have over 850 videos and haven't been sued yet. I'm trying to do everything above board to make sure the composers are getting paid fairly. It's the least we can do for all these great songs that have turned into these fun arrangements. So there you go. Thank you to Nathaniel for the question over on Patreon. Again, if you want to come on over there, patreon.com/classicaltrombone. Thank you everybody for joining me, and I'll see y'all real soon. Peace.